Welcome back from the break. We are back with our Sekiro Pride percent run. We've got the amazing Sykes and Supernova commentating. So they'll tell you all about the
Hello.
run.
Hello.
So this is what PainofWar calls the Pride Party run, and from his command on his stream, I was able to pull. It is Sekiro, Immortal Severance ending, sword only, no skills are the restrictions, and then he will be collecting one of every balloon, one of every sugar or shinobi candies. He's also collecting divine confetti and divine grass, and then at the end of the run, he is going to pop all of these items and have a party over the final boss once he's dead.
So we do have some incredible polls and milestone going on for this run. If we reach $500 raised, Pain will fight the Demon of Hatred. We are currently at $420, so we're literally just $80 away. I'm confident we can reach the goal. We also have a poll going on to add a Sekiro mini boss. You can vote for either 7 Spears, Orin of the Water, or the Second Chained Ogre. Currently, Orin of the Water is winning with $225, so if you want to see a different boss fought, you know what to do.
Demon of Hatred is not a boss you want to miss. That is one of the most difficult bosses of the game. So definitely get those donations in so we can see some Demon of Hatred.
I don't think I've actually ever seen Demon of Hatred fought. I never really got very far in Sekiro, so I'm really excited to see it Hitless.
Yeah, it's a boss that really doesn't feel like a Sekiro boss. It feels more like a Bloodborne boss or like a Souls boss.
Yeah, more of a Soulsy kind of boss.
Okay. I do know that Sekiro has very different mechanics than the other FromSoft games.
Yes, it plays quite differently, whereas in sort of Dark Souls and Bloodborne, the combat is more focused around the dodge roll. In Sekiro, the combat is more focused on parrying and deflecting and rhythms and all of that. And that is also something we're going to see a lot with this run, because with the sword only, no skills restrictions, we're basically stripping away a lot of what would otherwise make a hitless run a bit more approachable in Sekiro. So a lot of the damage buffs, the combat arts, the prosthetic tools, anything that would otherwise make a boss easier, he is not allowed to use that for this run. So we are going to see a lot of combat mastery from PainofWar.
That is
And
really
I believe also like the Gashins aren't
That
allowed
too,
for
yes.
only, which is a choice. But yeah, that'll make some of the running sections very interesting to see.
Oh, definitely. We have our first donation from the run from our lovely restreamer, Panda. $2 donation saying, Dono train all aboard. So let's
All
get
aboard
on
the
that
Dono train.
We also have some incredible raffle prizes. You saw them promoted during the last run. It was a little scuffed, but we've got a Ronnie plush, a Hollow Knight Grub plush, custom art commissions actually that are all being raffled off, as well as some other awesome raffle prizes. So you can check them out. Also, by clicking the donation link, you can just see them. They'll be on the side there.
The plushies
So,
are very adorable. So, get those raffle tickets in for them.
all right, it looks like we'll be starting the run very soon.
And it looks like he is off. We've started. So usually at the beginning of the game, you don't actually start with your sword. And one of the things about this game is you kind of need your sword to be able to run around. So what PainofWar's going to do is he's going to hop, skip, and a jump. And it looks like he's going to take a stealthy route.
You can't even sprint in this earlier section where you get your sword.
So him jumping like this, it is both faster, and also there's a couple of gunmen here that will sometimes try to shoot at him, and it also kind of helps to avoid those shots as well. But now he picks up the sword, and so now he's able to run, and this tutorial section's pretty straightforward. We could just run past everything.
Yeah, there's a mini boss up here, but it's not required. Oh, over the roof, that's interesting.
And then coming up is the first major boss of the game. So you're going to find that this is if you haven't watched a Sekiro run, you are in for a treat. It is very fast-paced, and there's constantly fighting something. First boss is up against Genichiro, and if you've played this game, then you will know that normally you're supposed to get your butt whooped because he understands the combat better than the new player. But in a hitless run, there isn't any way to actually script this death, so you are going to see a full fight against Genichiro.
And normally you like it's an intended death. But there is actually like an alternate cutscene depending on whether or not you are able to beat him.
And probably one of the common things you're going to see throughout this run is the aggression towards the bosses. This helps to sort of condense the moveset into sort of more predictable reactions. And it also helps to keep the posture meter up, which is sort of the main way that you're going to initiate death blows, which will take off the remainder of a boss's HP bar.
Yeah, aggression is just so key when running this game.
Very clean, Genichiro.
Very, very clean.
So now we get into the first running section of the run. And I wonder if he's grabbing the candies. He's probably gonna grab the Akko here, unless he picks one up later. There are plenty of candies throughout Ashina.
Yeah, I'm curious to... okay, it looks like he's skipping it. He might be grabbing the one just before Kyobu.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, like you said, there's so many to pick up, so it'll be interesting to see his routing throughout it all.
Comes down to kill the gunman. He went and picked up some coins.
Okay, that's interesting. I'm buying a lot of coins. Picking up a lot of coins.
And also picking up the bell charm to go to Hirata Estate. So I wonder where he's picking up an item maybe over there. Hirata Estate normally not required for Immortal Severance. So definitely be curious to see if he's picking up an item in there. He does pick up a possession balloon. I believe the possession balloons increase spirit emblem acquisition from enemies.
Spirit emblem is what you would normally use for your prosthetics and I guess skills, which I mean we won't be seeing any of them used in this run, but obviously the item itself is required.
So here we come to the first mini boss of the run, Chained Ogre, and this is we're kind of talking about Demon of Hatred kind of being one of those like Dark Souls-y kind of fights. This is another one. It's evil that they put this at the beginning of the game.
Yeah, this is a roadblock for a lot of people on their first playthrough. I mean, I know I got brutalized by this fight
Absolutely.
on my first playthrough, but I mean, normally you would pop like a Garchin, like a stealth item, and
Right.
you can death blow Ogre while he's still kind of hooked up to the like still chained basically. But obviously because this is sword only, Paint had to go with a different approach.
Very nice, Chained Ogre. Also worth mentioning that with bosses like Chained Ogre, where you have to kind of rely more on evasion rather than deflex. If you keep your camera unlocked and you dash while your camera is unlocked, you always dash forward in whatever direction you're facing, and it gives you more iframes compared to locking on and getting a back dash or a side dash. So it kind of helps to avoid kind of like the magnet grabs, which I would say this game is a little infamous for the grab hitboxes.
I remember seeing you, Sykes, have some issues with the grab hitboxes just the other day.
Yeah. There's I guess like two grab. Well, I mean he has quite a few, but there's two main ones that you'll kind of get. One's quite quick, and you almost like magnetize into it. It's pretty rough.
You're running past the snake, not going for the pelican. So normally you would go into the pelican and you can stab at the snake's eye to sort of immobilize it and be able to run through, but you can also just skip it. It saves quite a bit of time as well. So he did go for the Akko Sugar before Gyobu. I believe underneath this we have the Mibu Balloon of Wealth that is allows you to boost your Sen acquisition. It's I would call it kind of like the souls of this game, but you don't really use it for leveling up. It's purely for like merchant currency to buy a bunch of stuff.
And then next up is Gyobu, who is notoriously rough, particularly when you're not using like the crackers or anything like that.
It doesn't matter if it's a hitless run or a speed run, this guy will always give you problems. I think what makes this fight so difficult is, unlike some of the other bosses where you could use your aggression to kind of control what they do, this boss you kind of just have to let him do his thing. You can't really control any of his moves. You just have to know all of them and kind of pick up on it, the tendencies of how he likes to follow up combos.
Yeah, he's a very complex boss for how early in the game he is. I guess kind of like Margit from Elden Ring in that sense.
Yeah, for sure.
Very, very technical. Doesn't also help that like the arena and the camera kind of work against you quite a lot.
Yeah, for sure. A lot of funky quirks that can happen with him.
There's also a meme that can happen during one of his attacks where like as you can see here, Gyobu kind of ride off and like swing his spear around kind of like on like a whip, and if you trigger his death blow during that attack, like his whole hitbox, sorry, will like shift and hit you. I lost like 3 runs to that before someone was kind enough to tell me what was causing it.
So, Pain almost got hit because Gyobu rode into the wall, and when he did his Tokyo drift, he got grapple locked because the grapple was inside some trees. And so in phase 2, what can happen is if he's riding straight at you, he will just start a jousting attack. It's incredibly difficult to parry. He managed to get out of it, but that was a pretty scary moment of that fight. Otherwise, very well fought. And he was able to handle that very well.
Speaking to Ishin now.
Yeah, so that NPC that he talked to, it is happens to be Ishin, and in order to talk with him later, which we're going to need to do, you have to speak with Tengu here, and regardless of if you do the quest or not, you still have to speak with him to get him to move. The quest would give you the Ashina esoteric text for mainly carp skills and also Ichimonji. But we can just skip all that.
Is now a good time to read a few donations?
I think so. We can do 1 or 2.
You might be able to get like a couple in before
Awesome.
before the boss.
So we've got a $50 donation from X03 saying, "Happy Pride, good luck to all the runners today. Thank you so much." And then we have
Awesome.
$65 donation from Aranel saying, "Happy Pride, we all deserve to experience love fully and equally without compromise. Thank you so much."
And with those donations, I've actually hit the goal.
We will see
Demon of Hatred.
a Demon of Hatred.
Oh my goodness, yes, we have officially hit the first milestone.
Here we've got Blazing Bull, another one of the notorious Dark Souls-esque Sekiro bosses.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting how many of these bosses are like early on.
So what he's doing is he's sort of trying to get Bull to lock into these like side headbutts, so that way he can get some headshots, which will do a lot more damage and also staggers him faster.
Yeah, and he's baiting out the short kind of head scoop there. Kind of prevents Bull from just sort of getting the zoomies and just sort of running around the arena.
Very nice.
Very, very nice.
Uses his Homeward Idol to go to the last communed idol, which happens to be the idol up ahead actually just gets automatically communed with, so this actually teleports him up ahead rather than backwards.
There's actually a few instances in the run where you'll kind of, I guess, like see stuff like that, like idols getting sort of automatically unlocked.
Grab the gatehouse key by killing that spear enemy on the bridge. So it looks like he's picking up an item in here.
Fastball does make Bull tolerable, yeah. as tolerable as Bull can be. Which is not much, but it's still something.
And it looks like we might see a Lone Shadow here.
Oh,
the
yeah.
Long Swordsman. Quite a tricky boss, especially in this tiny well arena that you fight him in.
Yeah, one thing about these humanoid fights, because
over
you're
his
constantly having to stay on top of them, it's very easy to back them into a corner, basically.
Mm-hmm.
But he's handling that really well.
in the abandoned dungeon. Finds the bulging coin purse that gives him 1,000 sen. And it looks like we're going straight into Ashen Adepts. Also finds a Mibu Balloon of Soul. Which honestly, I've forgotten what that one does. They're not usually items that you see very often
really
in hitless runs. But looks like he picks up those soul balloons, and then we are sort of back to business as usual, heading towards the castle. Here's using the classic trick of getting the Nitro Warrior up ahead to sort of move out of the way. That guy can, with some bad RNG, he can throw out some shurikens to hit you.
Yeah, I've actually had an instance where he like hopped to the side and threw something at me, even with like luring him kind of towards me. These enemies are very, very mean.
Past a couple woo guys, we're into the castle, and he will probably do a little backside skip.
Yeah, making sure to rest there as well, because I mean, just to go kind of add on to how mean those guys can be, they can hit you on the top of this roof.
Yeah.
But now we're about to fight Genichiro again. Curious if he does like the... Okay, yeah, he's just gonna fight him straight up.
Yeah, I definitely prefer the Fog Door Cheese, because this is one of the tougher fights in the run, mainly because of the bow
because of
barrage
that
he
right
can do.
there, right there, yeah. Yeah, I've lost many runs to that barrage.
As nice as door cheese is, it's also very complicated. It's a lot harder than it looks.
It is, yeah. I initially went to learn it and struggled, and said it would just be easier to fight him.
Just has him stuck in the corner. I would not like this. Sekiro bosses in the corner are not to be trifled with.
Yeah, this is classic corner Chiro right here.
Very solid first two phases.
Interesting to see him not like knock him out of the arrow barrage.
So here we have a surprise phase 3, and this version of Genichiro gets lightning attacks, which the game tries to get you to jump in the air to catch the lightning, send it back at him. But that unfortunately deals damage, so we are not allowed to do that in a hitless run. So instead you're going to see him sort of maneuver out of the way, or in the case of the lightning slash, he's just going to try and iframe it.
That was scary dodge on that. Well, I do know that with like a certain prosthetic, you can catch it and throw it back.
Yes, there's the Mist Raven, which can you can use it to catch lightning without taking damage. There's also Sakura Dance, which is very far out of the way. Basically, after you've beaten the game, you'd go through Divine Air Gauntlet to get it from Inner Genichiro. But that is another way to do lightning reversals. And then here we will have plenty of time for some donations, if we have any. Just sort of catch up on what the story is at this point. We're doing this little yap session where Kuro sort of is confiding in Sekiro, saying there's all these like great powers that are trying to like take advantage of my resurrection ability, and I need you to find a way to kill me, is basically what he's saying. But you have to do it through the Immortal Severance Ritual, which is kind of the whole crux of the ending that we are going for. And so PainofWar is going to be going for 3 different items to activate an incense burner to gain access to the Divine Realm.
So we do have one donation, a $20 donation from Daisy. Thank you so much for the donation. And I want to just spend a little more time thanking you all for helping us reach the first milestone, which was $500, which was for Pain to fight the Demon of Hatred. So we will be seeing that today. Thank you so much, everyone, for making that happen. The next goal is Celeste Moonberry Hitless for $1,500. So we're already $500 towards the goal, so another 1,000. Moonberry is an incredibly difficult, one of the hardest challenges in the game. A super secret berry that you can get near the end of Farewell in Celeste. So if you want to see that, you know what to do. But thank you so much, everyone, for helping us reach our first milestone of $500.
And I believe we still have a mini-boss poll that goes to the end of Divine Dragon, if I'm not mistaken. It's for fighting the 7 spears, which I believe this will be the strongest 7 spears in the reservoir. There's also Oren of the Water currently in the lead. $225.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then there's the second Chained Ogre, which can be fought after the first invasion of Ashina Castle. That's the one at the bottom of the castle.
I do want to note that Pain, our runner, did donate towards Oren of the Water. So that is his preference. So if you want to see him fight something else,
get those donations in.
Get
Exactly.
those donations in. Maybe a little commentator's bias, but there's only one Oren of the Water in the entire game.
this is true. I guess if we have a little bit more time, I'll mention a little bit about the charity again. We're
Yeah, he's
raising
got
money-
another running section, dear Fred.
Okay, perfect. So we're raising money for the Trans Empowerment Project. They are an incredible organization run by trans people for trans people. And what they do is provide micro grants to trans people in need to cover basic necessities, rent, groceries, transportation, because a lot of trans people struggle with income due to discrimination, unfortunately, and a lot of trans people need to have these costs covered to stay out of or get out of unsafe situations. So your donations are going directly to supporting trans people live safe lives, and that is just such an incredible cause.
In the Abandoned Dungeon, this is where we go to access Sempo Temple, and the ultimate objective here is we're going for the Immortal Blade. So there are 3 different items you need to activate the Incense Burner. That is Mortal Blade, Shelter Stone, and the Lotus Flower. They're each guarded by a boss, and generally the order that I read off is typically what you will see done in a hitless run. It helps to avoid having to deal with extra enemies and running sections. Also takes out one of the more annoying major bosses of the game if you save the flower for last.
No wallfish, unfortunately.
No fish blessing. I call that the fish blessing. If I'm not mistaken, I've heard there's actually a line to get that every time, but I don't know that line. You can also swim through the floor and try to hit you. It's pretty scary when that happens.
Yeah, I've had that happen on a live run. It's terrifying. I've also had the fish in the wall make its way over to the lift somehow. No.
That's a silly fish.
Now these little beetles, or not like insects,
The
they can actually
crickets.
hit you. The crickets, yeah,
Yeah.
they can actually hit you. in rare instances.
I got hit once to a crooked in the dungeon. I wasn't paying attention. He got me.
Oh, devastating.
It's one of those rites of passages to. You play this game enough, you will find a new and exciting way to lose a hitless run.
Yeah, I'm sure I'm going to discover plenty of these in due time.
We have a balloon of spirit. I believe he has all of the balloons collected.
Yeah, has he picked up a Yash? I'm not sure. Because I know he went down to Black
He might
Hat.
have. I know he did go down to Black Hat. He picked up the wheel prosthetic.
Oh, that's interesting. Now we got Roberto.
So this guy's gimmick is you can't actually damage him or kill him with a death blow, but if you can knock him off the edge, his armor is very heavy and he will indeed fall very quickly. So you're gonna see him try to get him to the edge of the bridge.
Oh, the nudge. That's
Unfortunately, gets hit by the nudge. Yeah, those guys can be tricky with some of his attack delays, and that nudge especially being a pretty fast one.
Yeah, his. I've
Pretty easy to get caught off guard by that.
Yeah, I found his swings to have very awkward timings. They have like a very slow startup, but they come out a lot quicker than you kind of expect them to.
Still playing very well though. This first half of the run is one of the trickier parts.
Is Roberto stagger again? Oh,
let's not get into that conversation.
What a rabbit hole to go down.
Should I create a poll for that one?
It's quite a heated debate.
Yeah.
What I'm hearing is let the donors decide whether it's a hit.
I actually
it would be funny
on my like actual run, my like actual no prosthetics run the other day, or like last week.
Here we've got folding screen monkeys, usually a puzzle boss, but you can basically just have this scripted and done in about like 15-20 seconds. But basically, there's a bunch of puzzles throughout this little, like, dream map here. Where you can eventually get these monkeys to stop running away from you. But they also have some pretty predictable paths. You can also trivialize this fight with a gotchin.
Yeah, the gotchin makes it very, like scripted, almost.
Yeah. And so that is the boss that guards the Mortal Blade. One of the items we need for the incense burner.
The poll is up. Let the chaos ensue.
Let the chaos begin.
Yeah, it was getting a little too peaceful around here.
Yeah. This chat's gonna be a riot now. Nobody asked how's Roberto. That's what I'm saying. So it seems like he is doing some Roberto questing. And also swapping to Puppeteer Ninjutsu. So normally for sword only, ninjutsus are typically not allowed, except in the case of the return ending. And I guess in this case, he's doing some questing with Badger that might require that kite to go up, which can only be done if you puppet that. I forgot what those guys are called. They're Senpo Assassins, that's what it is. Tengu calls them rats. But it looks like he's moving that kite to probably do something on the other side of the Sunken Valley. And also grab some snap seeds. So he did move the kite and talked with Badger on the other side, and now he's back at the temple, and we are going to
Harada now.
Harada. This is interesting. I've never done Badger's quest. So he's getting some treasure carp. Or he killed the one next to the dealer, and he's getting the divine grass from this guy. The little pot merchant in the lake. I believe divine grass, it fully restores HP when used, but you can only have one of them active at a time.
Curious as to where we're going now. Gun for it, maybe?
Yeah, probably gun for it. The fun for it, that's what we like to call it, because it is so much fun.
Yeah, very enjoyable area to go through.
Is this a good spot for more donations?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, so we've got a $100 donation from MyKim and a $25 donation from Ikto. Thank you so much.
Huge.
For both your donations.
Huge donos.
Also, I did put the poll up about Roberto's stagger, but this is purely fun and games. Don't cause trouble for admins, please. Thank you.
Yes. The conversation has been beaten to death already.
Yeah. I believe it.
Getting up to one of the
discussions.
Yeah. Speaking of infamous, we're coming up to one of the infamous parts of Gunford, where you have to traverse a bunch of islands, and you have to avoid some gunfire from some snipers off on the cliff.
Yeah, normally you would gotcha to run through here. but considering Pain can't do that, it makes this extra scary. On top of it just already being terrifying to begin with.
Oddly enough, I've actually preferred the no Gachin run.
Oh really?
For some reason, I find it to actually be more consistent. So what he's gonna do, he's just gonna wait these guys out, and then he wants to try to probably get a timing so he can just run across the bridge, and then probably drop down below to the branch.
Yeah, just simply don't get hit.
So he does this little rock jump on the side. This is to kind of like, I guess, pull their guns over towards the this rock island. He's just gonna hide back here until they fully de-aggroed. And also, for anyone in chat just joining us, this is Pride Party, which is Immortal Severance ending, sort of the standard ending of the game that most players will go through. Sword only, no skills, which means no items, no combat arts, no prosthetics. Also not seeing Makiri counter or carp skills. This is purely sword combat. And then for the Pride Party, he's collecting some various items to use at the end of killing the final boss. So past sort of the infamous part of Gunfort, onto one of my nemesis bosses, I would say. Centipede and Sword Only can be quite annoying. There's one attack in particular that acts as a, I guess, kind of a frame trap. If you try to parry it, you block almost every single time.
Yeah, it's a very strange attack. You only get it in phase 2, don't you?
Yes, only in phase 2.
Yeah. It's a very bizarre attack considering how, I mean, like the very nature of this boss is to just sort of parry.
Yeah, just like parry spam it. But yeah, it's decided to kind of make it more predictable when he's gonna do, it's what we call the quickie attack. He will sort of smack the boss at times when it's gonna do sweeps rather than trying to jump stomp, because jump stomp will kind of just lock you into kind of being right in front of him, and he's gonna, if he launches that attack, you get hit to it.
All damage does not count, no.
Yes.
Unless it kills you.
Unless it blacks out.
Yeah, I lost. I had a PB1 in this part, so like jumping down to Snake Eyes and not grappling, because the grapple in this game is flawless. Works every time.
Nice when you try not to die, because fall damage doesn't kill you in this game unless it would otherwise kill you at low HP.
Heading back to the deaths now.
So that idol that you picked up is next to one of the major items that we're going to want to pick up, but by saving him for last, we can actually avoid having to fight the ape duo, the infamous headless ape. And also keeps us from seeing some extra enemies. But now we get to Snake Eyes. Very tricky mini-boss in my experience. She's honestly on par with some of the other like major bosses. Requires a lot of focus to get through this fight.
Yeah, that grab in particular that Pain's parrying, like I find the timing on that to be really, really weird.
It is a funky timing.
Like I just flat out refuse to even parry this boss. I'd just nuke her. But Pain handled that really, really well.
So had he killed Guardian Ape, he would have had to fight Ape Duo inside the den. But now he could just skip it.
Oh,
that is scary.
When he went
Not
for the
unless
jump,
we want to
I'm
fight.
I was like, is he gonna land like where the headless is or what? Like, but he managed to get out of there.
He got out. Yeah, headless, unless you're doing all bosses, not a fight that you would necessarily care to go for. But he got out. But for the jump again, he makes it. So normally you would have to kind of go all the way around. There's a Tokujiru the Glutton. But what we can do instead is just hop on the branch of this tree and we can get to the top of this temple.
One of the hardest bosses in gaming.
So one of the hardest bosses ever. That was a close one.
Yeah, he barely made it out of there.
I don't know how he did that. Commentators left speechless.
That grapple is so scary.
Yeah, it is consistent, but it can be scary if you're not jumping from the right spot. Also, I don't know if we are going to see Orin just yet. Orin can be fought at any point in the game. But the poll is still up to see whether or not we are going to get Orin. Still firmly, very commanding lead.
Looks like we're going for
And actually, it looks like we are going to go for Orin. Or at least he grabbed the idol.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. We can just come back later.
Yeah, safety idol.
I believe he is like routing in what you need to be able to fight all the bosses so that when the pull is over,
yeah, that makes sense.
That makes sense, yeah.
So we leave Orin alone for now. And we're just going to head straight for the next boss, guarding the Shelter Stone. The Corrupted Monk.
Yeah, this is another fight that completely changes because of the sword-only restriction.
Normally you can do a little jump cheese by luring her back towards a rock. You can get a jumping death blow on this boss to just finish it right away. But here we're going to see him do a loop. Fun fact, this requires for Sekiro's sword to be on his right side when he does these thrusts. If you thrust on the left side, she will actually do different attacks. And she won't get into this little loop.
This boss has some very nasty attacks if you're not doing this loop.
So yeah. I wonder if we might see some of this with True Monk later. There is another monk fight later in the game. That one also has some pretty nasty stuff. This fight can also be very long as well. I believe this boss has the highest posture recovery of any of the bosses in the game.
Really? Wow.
Also worth mentioning, he has to kind of dodge in a particular way so that the first thrust will hit for vitality, because if you don't dodge in the right spot, excuse me, if you don't dodge in the right spot, what can happen is you thrust into a parry right away. And then she's able to kind of break that loop. But very nice on the false monk cheese.
Grabbing the next item required, or the Severance Ritual.
And then right away we should be getting into the next major boss. I feel like everything is just infamous in this game for one reason or another. Because I keep saying the infamous Guardian Ape.
Yeah, Guardian Ape is definitely something. Even though it's like a lot more Sekiro-esque than say like Bull or or anything like that, I still find this fight very like awkward at times. I feel like the FOV doesn't really.
I believe the goal that he is looking for is there's a little stagger loop you can do with Ape. It's a lot easier to set up on if you have Mortal Draw. But since we don't have that, he's gonna have to fight for these staggers a little bit. Very patient with his attack timings.
Yeah, one thing about Ape is like because of how it just sort of flails around, it's possible for him to initially miss you with one swing and make contact with another, and it can just completely mess up your parry time.
Like sort of the 5-piece combo that he can do. Sometimes one of the hits will just straight up whiff.
Yeah, same for like the little like double slash in P2.
Like I say, it's taken a while to get the stagger going, but now he's got the loop going.
Yeah, now he'll just kind of continue this loop for the rest of P1.
Quite a tricky loop too. You have to time attacks so that way you can keep Guardian Ape staggered without him sort of like flying on his back. Because that can end the loop. A very nice fight. And that's it, right? That's the boss.
Yeah, that's totally it. That's totally the whole fight.
That's the whole fight.
So look, Shinobi Execution.
Shinobi Execution, he did it.
GG.
Why is he getting up? We should know this stuff. Darn you, FromSoft, pulling the classic monkey with his head cut off trick on us.
The old switcheroo. The old bait and switch.
So I personally find this to be a bit easier than Phase 1. Because as much as he's got some erratic attack tells, you are able to parry some more stuff. And it also feels a little more, I guess, how do I say it? Like, it's easier to react to what he's doing.
Yeah, definitely.
Very nice getting a lot of parries. So normally for this fight, you want to get those big parries to stagger him, because they can get a bunch of hits on him.
I was about to say, we haven't really seen any screams. That's like very good RNG.
Yeah, very nice. A very nice monkey.
Yeah, there are times this guy will just scream constantly.
He'll scream constantly, he'll constantly do sweeps. Very, very nice.
GG's for reals this time.
GG's.
That was really, really good RNG on that.
Picks up the Lotus Flower. That is now the third item to burn the incense. And so now you access your idols and you find out, well, a bunch of them just got grayed out. Why is that? Because grabbing the third item triggers the first invasion of Ashina Castle.
Yeah, it's another instance as well of like idols being unlocked even if you don't initially grab them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can completely skip grabbing the dungeon idol and it will automatically light for you if you never grabbed it. Grappling up, sometimes that twin blade soldier will, or I guess it's a lone shadow actually. He can sometimes jump at you, but sometimes he'll also just fall off.
Yeah, I think it depends on like whether or not you like move first before he jumps down.
And so now we get to the top to meet Kuro, and we find out that Owl happens to be up here, and Owl will tell you to listen to him and obey the Iron Code, but since we are staying true to Kuro, we are not going to follow the Iron Code, and we are going to fight him. It looks like he's doing this little 2-hit loop. I guess that's a 3-hit loop because he's hitting once into his guard, but basically, get Owl to swing, you can dodge behind him, you get 2 free hits to his vitality. This fight can get very complex.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of different things that he can do if you're like just kind of fighting him head on.
This can also be a little tricky because you, what can often happen, and we might see this more often in Phase 2, is Owl will just try to jump away and just not give you this loop. Also, that little transition and the smoke bomb both will stagger you if you get hit by those. So he does have to avoid those. Trying to get this set up again. Owl is not giving him what he wants. Now he's got something. Also worth noting, this boss does have a similar door cheese to Genichiro, but it's very much RNG dependent because he opens with like 4 different attacks. It can be tricky to kind of nudge him into that corner. But very nice owl fight.
Very nice, GG.
Once he got what he was looking for, Owl did not jump away from him. And so now, we have another little yapping session with Kuro, where we have now acquired all of the items, and we still have to go through all of the dialogue of Kuro telling us, "Wow, you grabbed the item! Great job! Here's where the next one is! Oh, I already have it! Wow, great job!" So on and so forth. But eventually, he will be lighting the incense. If we have donations, this is a good time to read any if we have one.
We don't currently, so I guess I'll use the time to talk about our raffle prizes a little bit. We are currently raffling off 5 custom art commissions. It's $5 a ticket, but if you buy a bunch of tickets, it's a... Oh, never mind. We have a donation from Phoebe for $100. Thank you so much, Phoebe.
$100, yippee.
Thank you so much. We're now getting real close to $1,000 raised, which is really exciting. But yeah, so we're raffling off art commission raffle tickets, a Ronnie plush, a Grub plush, a Hollow Knight plush, a Kirby plush, a Hollow Knight custom engraved dice holder, and I believe there was one more thing. It's skipping my mind. Either way, we have a lot of awesome prizes. We've also got the next incentive, which is Celeste Moonberry Hitless, which will be super exciting if we can hit it. And if we reach $3,000 raised, then we'll play Bloodborne on piano Hitless. So if you want to see that, you know what to do. Thank you so much, everyone, and I'll give it back to the commentators.
Time's also running out on the mini-boss poll. Owen firmly in the lead. So if you'd like to make your voice known, there's also that donation incentive. On to True Monk.
It
looks like we're seeing...
Oh, brother.
Thanks, Kelp. Doing the same loop as he did on the false monk, which is what the first monk is called. This is called the true monk.
Yeah, I noticed he parried the like the initial jump into the
that is
into the arena.
Bold move. I've tried to do that and I've lost runs to it, so I've just stopped. But yeah, you can parry the sort of the landing of True Monk entering the arena. So unlike the first monk, this one has 3 phases. First phase is down. And what you're able to do in this second phase, normally she will start summoning a bunch of spirits, but if you get up on top of a tree, you can actually see where the real monk is and just get a jumping death blow. So phase 3 it is. This phase has some very tricky attacks, a lot of funky timings. And also a lot of different ways she will mix up her combos. Handling this very well.
Yeah, we're sort of seeing those mix-up kind of combos right there, going into that like head spew thing. And there's Corrupted Monk, GG.
Very nicely done. His nickname there is Badass Sekiro. That is nonsense. Absolute malarkey. We're watching him absolutely crush this.
Bad games that have thousands of hours in. Very on brand.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, we're all guilty of it, to be fair, but still.
On to Fountainhead Palace, which is one of the longer runs in this run. A run within a run. So I believe what he's going to do is he's going to do a little bit of a wall jump. It skips a lot of this next section of the palace, which has a bunch of the Miss Noble enemies, which are a lot scarier here than they are than the one was. He's missing it a couple of times, and you can see he's trying to pay attention to block the lightning soccer balls, because there's if you get in the water, there's an Okami leader Lionel Messi kicking lightning soccer balls, trying to snipe you. And we don't see Lake Skip. There is a way to save a lot of time, but it is incredibly risky because you need to get a cycle where the Okami leader starts missing her lightning soccer balls. But it would allow you to skip her and a big portion of this level. But it is an incredibly risky run.
Yeah, and thankfully Pain doesn't have to fight like any of the mini bosses in this area.
Upcoming random Chichiban Warrior aggro. I believe this is kind of a byproduct of the boss getting loaded in. And for some reason, the boss health bar will just show up.
Yeah, that Chichiman is nasty. As is like any Chichiman, because I mean they're not fun, but
so now he's going to fight the World Cup star, Shaisu. And yeah, your eyes don't deceive you. It is a 1 health bar boss against an enemy that just staggers constantly, so the moment you get in, the boss gets deleted. Very nicely done.
I can't imagine if that boss had like actual health, and, like second posture bar, because man, fighting on that branch would be miserable.
We're doing Fast Fish Cave. There's normally another stealth section like the Snake, where you can use some of those sunken temples to kind of hide your presence. He just swims all the way up to the top and knows where the fish will attack. Also worth mentioning, last call on the mini-boss pull, we are getting up to the Divine Dragon, which is the second to last boss of the Immortal Severance ending. And so this boss is kind of two parts. It's this first part is the Dragons of the Tree, and all you gotta do is just kill one of them, and eventually these guys will start summoning some tree trunks that you can use to get on top of them, and then you get this big 360 slash that kills a bunch of these little mini dragons. Sort of the appetizer before
The main event.
the main event, the cinematic encounter. So basically, once all of these white dragons are dead, that is what damages the boss health bar. We're now into the dragon, and this is kind of just a patience game of waiting for attacks where you can safely grapple onto these tree branches. Some of them will eventually get lightning strikes on them, and you can send the lightning back at the dragon.
Quick
Yeah,
reminder, the poll will be closing as soon as this boss is beaten, so if you want to change the vote last minute, one up on Grand there, now's the time to do it.
So that little gust that the dragon was doing, normally it'll just like send you back. It actually counts as a hit, except for the first one, which is not avoidable. So whenever the dragon tries to sort of do that little get off me wind gust, PainofWar has to back off and avoid it.
Yeah, and I guess sort of in the same vein, you know, unlike Genny 2 or Sword Saint, the lightning that you're casting back here doesn't inflict any damage to you.
Mm-hmm. Very nice, maxes out the posture, and this is sort of the second phase of the dragon. It opens with a big combo. And then eventually he will be given one final attack to finish him off.
Very long combo. Very, very long combo.
And that should be it. All he has to do now is make the dragon cry, get its tears, and we have the things we need to perform the immortal severance ritual. Solid stuff.
Very, very nice.
And with that, the poll is closed, and it looks like Orin of the Water did win.
We'll see some Orin in a little bit.
He does have to fight Demon of Hatred, yeah.
And yeah, we will also see some Demon of Hatred. I imagine he might try to at least finish this part of the run before we see the additional bosses. So coming up, this I believe is the 7 spears that had this one. Pain would have been fighting this guy. There is another one, but you get locked out of him if you push the game to the 2nd invasion, which we are currently in, after defeating Divine Dragon. And you could be quite annoying. You'd have to find a way to get rid of the samurai before actually fighting the boss. So he just got the idol at the secret passage. It looks like he's going back to Kuro's room. He might be probably doing the run up to Demon. No, he's going to the watermill. So we might be seeing some Orin.
Yeah, it looks like that's where he's going.
This can be a very, very tricky encounter.
Yeah, because she initially tries to bait you into thinking that she's in need of some help.
Yeah, she has a lot of different quirks. She also mixes up her combos between both phases. Nice phase 1.
Very, very nice. Very quick too.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Yeah, doing a straight fight against her, there is a cheese that you can do for this fight. Doing the straight fight is very tough. A lot of different wind-up mix-ups. I've also gotten her to dialogue meme twice.
Oh, wow.
Commonly associated with Fire Ishin, but Orin does it too. Some bosses that can speak will just queue up a combo twice, and sometimes they will just wind up the same combo twice and completely throw off your rhythm.
Yeah, man, it's like I guess like the 99 posture meme on Ishin.
Yeah.
I can definitely throw you off. I think my distance PB at one point was that phase 2, like as close as you can get to getting it without actually getting it.
So I guess he just finished Black Hat Badger's quest for the Mibu Pillage Balloon, which I'll be honest, I never knew existed. And it looks like he's going to be running up to the Demon of Hatred.
A very, very tricky boss. I do think it's a very cool fight, kind of thematically, but because it's the sculptor, isn't it? Like,
Yeah, it's the sculptor.
Yeah. So he kind
Sculptor
of like
possessed by the Shura demon.
Yeah, he uses all the different, I guess, like prosthetics against you. But as an actual fight goes, it's very, very tough.
Commonly associated with many rage quits.
Yeah, exactly. Because he just doesn't handle like a Sekiro boss. So like I remember on my first playthrough when I was treating it more like a Souls game, I didn't have too much of a problem with him. And then on my second playthrough, when I adapted to parrying, I got completely floored by him.
Oh yeah.
So,
yeah, I think I was just like running away waiting for one particular attack. And that took like 2 hours of fighting him. To bring him down, I was like, I don't want to fight him again. But honestly, I think it's one of those bosses that Hitless actually kind of makes him more fun and enjoyable. Because you actually like learn how to properly fight him.
yeah, exactly, Cal.
Yeah, that is the typical reaction. I learned how to
He's
actually play
fighting-
Sekiro, and now I'm given a Dark Souls boss. What do you
fighting
mean?
Gyobu here was bad. Like,
Oh yeah.
boy, do we have something in store for you.
So what he's probably gonna do here is he's going to activate the boss, but he's gonna idle out. Because you can see
Yeah,
that
'cause
he's already fighting some ads. So this is going to reset the arena with just Demon by himself. And we're just going straight into it. Demon of Hatred. Couple different ways I've seen him fought. It looks like he's doing just full-on dash iframes, which is normally how I would go about it. I have seen some people do some parries on his attacks.
You know, like parry the stomp.
Yeah, the big stomp. That has a funky hitbox if you don't dodge it in time.
Getting some headshots there.
Yeah, kind of my trick to understanding this boss is like once you know phase 1, you basically have the entire fight learned. The other 2 phases add in some extra gimmicks, but all of his melee attacks and combos basically stay the same. So this is just one very long phase 1 that he's fighting. Also typically fought like as like either the last boss or one of the last bosses of all memories. So definitely a nerve-wracking final boss to have to go up against. You can see whenever he's far away from Demon, he wants to try to bait out either that big lanky arm or the fireballs, because the fireballs are pretty dangerous.
There's the first death blow there.
Yeah, this first phase. So in this second phase, he gains a kind of like a dancing fireball ritual attack, and then also this this flame carpet, which you have to be a bit further away to avoid. And I also find he has the tendency to run away a lot. This is the ritual dance, casting a bunch of fireballs. Ooh, got close on that headbutt.
He's handling this really well.
quite a long phase too. He just keeps on jumping away. Typical demon shenanigans.
Oh my god, that emote of Smoker. Very distinguished gentleman.
When got up against the wall, he immediately fireballed. So coming up on the end of phase 2. So now in phase 3, he will generally open with Ring of Fire. So it keeps him confined in this space while Demon just gets to run around.
Do whatever he
also,
wants, basically.
Yeah, also gets that double charge as well in this third phase. Tends to do it during the Ring of Fire because you have a very hard time seeing it.
Yeah, I think he might have played this game once or twice.
It's doing it again.
I'm starting to think that bad at Sekiro Discord title might be a bit of a ruse.
Oh, so getting the ritual dance and the Ring of Fire is not ideal.
Yeah, that's a
If he were to ever
rough combination
get
of
that.
attacks.
Because normally you want a lot of space to be able to avoid the fireballs. Ring of Fire for a third time. Avoiding this nicely as well, that can be a tricky attack to iframe. Why Demon of Hatred is necessary? This was a donation incentive to make PainofWar fight Demon of Hatred.
Or is it halfway to the next incentive, which is the Moonberry for Celeste?
And that was flawless. Very well fought.
Yeah, very well done, GG.
Very, very difficult fight. Even in Hitless, very tough.
Exactly, Kel. And he literally has hatred in his name. Like, can't be leaving him around.
So I believe all that is left is a final boss, which is a double bill of Genichiro again, and then followed up by Sword Saint Ishin. Looks like he's making sure he's got all of his items, because we're gonna have a little bit of a party. Once he's defeated.
Yeah, this first Genny fight is pretty much just the phase 3 of his fight at Ashina Castle, like a couple extra added attacks.
Yeah, rather than lightning, now Genichiro has a Mortal Blade, and he will try to use it. Sometimes in the middle of combos, like you just did. Why are we back at the beginning of the run? Well, we end where we started. Now on to Sword Stain, what many consider one of the hardest bosses in any game. This is a full check of mastery of the game.
Yeah, there are so many nasty attacks that you have to deal with in this fight.
That little shove that he can do before he thrusts, timed ever so slightly differently to his counter slash. So you try to parry for the counter slash, you get hit by the push. Iframes the stomp of the phase 2 transition to get some extra vitality. And unlike phase 1, where he was going full aggressive with attacking into his guard, he now wants to do just one hit into the guard. Gives him some generally nicer attacks. Lets him also keep up the aggression to drop his posture. Very nice second phase. Third phase brings back the lightning, but again, we cannot jump counter the lightning, so he will be iframing. Oh, gets hit. I saw the vision. He was trying to parry the second hit. That was a pretty funky position to have him do that.
Managed to get him out of that corner at least. That was a very awkward spot to be in.
Ooh. Wow, I had no idea you could actually cancel him out of that combo. I guess I'm usually not close enough to think about it. GG's.
GG.
Yeah, much like Demon, not an easy fight to do, Hitless.
Now we party.
Party
Now
time!
we party. Pobs everything.
Oh, the sparkles are rainbow. That is amazing.
That is cool. Yeah, that's really cool. Really nifty confetti mod.
Happy Pride, y'all.
Happy Pride Month.
Happy Pride, man. Look at all those pretty colors.
Got all his balloons, now doing all of the candies. Some sick Sekiro dance moves. Each one has a different different poise that you can actually kind of see in the item icon.
I'm just mesmerized by the pretty flames.
Yeah, that is a cool confetti mod he has. Very nicely done.
Very nicely done. GG.
GG Pain. Thank you for the run. That was
GG.
really well done.
Thank you. Thank you. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
we can hear you.
How are you feeling about the run? It looked really cool to me, but I'm not exactly an expert.
I'm pretty pissed about the Roberto hit. And the Ishin hit was totally my fault, but it was also weird, so it's whatever.
I saw the vision on the Ishin hit. I saw what you
Yeah.
were trying to do.
I thought he was gonna go into the jump lightning slam and not the double wind slash, and I guess because I dashed forward, my position made it so that the second wave of the wind like caught as a block instead of a deflect, which is a hit.
Oh yeah.
So that was just a misread on my part, so that's totally my fault. But the Roberto one was very frustrating because like it was a combination of the worst positioning I could have had, followed by the worst follow-up to that slam he could have done. And I was just really annoyed.
Yeah, that push is nasty.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I'm pretty happy with how I did. A lot of the bosses acted very weird, so I'm glad I caught most of the weirdness. Like the Gyobu grapple not working, I thought for sure.
Yeah,
I was
that one was
there.
scary.
Yeah, that
one was very
scary.
scary.
Same
Yeah,
for
I
dropping
thought I
into the
was-
headless. That was
Oh,
scary.
yeah. So super funny thing for both of those. I was literally thinking in my head, wow, Gyobu's giving me really good RNG right before that failed grapple. So that was an own on my own thinking there. And then that jump onto the branch, like I've practiced that like a million times at this point for the run I'm like currently working on, which is a much harder version of this basically. And it's been ages since I like missed that jump. So if you had my audio on, you would have heard me scream when I landed in front of that headless. I was literally terrified.
I had it on a little bit. I heard it.
I got
Yeah.
terror IRL.
IRL terror.
Yeah, I was about to comment on. I'm like, I've heard of people like missing the jump onto this branch and falling down into the headless. And before I could even like finish my own thought, you were just down in there with him. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, that was
But
funny.
I mean, you recovered it. You handled it really well. The Demon of Hatred fight was really cool to see too. You did that really well.
That was very well managed. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Phase two felt long. It seemed like he just wanted to jump away a lot.
Phase 2, he did a couple weird things, and I didn't react like perfectly to them, but it ended up working out, so it was whatever. But yeah, that's the thing with Demon. A lot of people like think he's hard, but in my opinion, he's like not a hard boss at all. It's just a war of attrition because he's so much chunkier than every other boss in the game.
Yeah, I was describing it as like one long phase one, because the other phases add a couple extra attacks, but
Yeah,
his
like
melee
phase,
combos pretty
like,
much stay the same.
Phase 2 only adds 2 attacks, the burning totem volley, and then the ground slam where it does the massive fire trail from far away. And then Phase 3 only adds that fire spin where it like encases you in that like smaller arena of fire temporarily. Those are the only like 3 additional moves outside of Phase 1, so he's really not super complicated, like especially compared to Sword Saint or Father Owl or something. He's just so much chunkier than everything else that it feels like he's hard. But he's also my favorite boss, so I was happy to do him.
Yeah, I'd mentioned
it was
Hitless kind of
really
makes it
impressive
more
to
fun.
watch.
Yeah, for sure.
Really, really impressive
Yeah,
to watch.
very well managed run.
Thank you. Maybe I'll get an actual hitless Sekiro run in 2026.
I believe.
Surely.
Yeah,
I'm with you.
no
I
doubt.
haven't been on Sekiro in a minute.
I've
Always
only
get to see some Hitless Sekiro.
This is the only game I've like run hitless since August of last year. So to tell you the truth, I'm over it, but we persist. We
Yeah,
persist.
we push on, right?
As we always do.
I was really happy to do this for the event because it gave me a break from the torture I've been putting myself through since the beginning of the year. So this was refreshing to kind of route and figure out. Because like before this, I didn't know where half of the candy drop points or I didn't know where any of the balloons were except for the wealth balloons. So finding little routes for those was pretty cool.
It was really fun to
mentioned
watch.
you did a badger quest for Mibu Pilgrimage balloon, I think, which I didn't know existed.
So yeah, Mibu Pilgrimage Balloon it gives the effects of all of the 4 other balloons combined into one, and you can only get one per playthrough, and the only way to get it is by finishing Badger's quest, which is the only reason I went through all that. That's the reason I picked up the coin bags like early on in the run, because in order for him to like move on to the next like quest point, you have to buy the Iron Fortress and the Air Death Blow from his shop. So that was literally the only reason I picked up money at all.
Yeah, we were curious about that at the start.
Yeah.
Also the puppeteer on the assassin at the kite.
Yeah, that's another requirement for the quest point. So he goes to his son's grave like in that cave after all the grappling, but you have to have that kite like released, and the only way to do that is to ninjutsu that one little dude. So
yeah, really cool.
Yeah, it was a really cool run to watch.
Well, thank you. I'm happy to do it. This is one of my favorite games of all time. So, despite the testicular torsion it's put me through this year, I'm always happy to do it.
All right, well, thank you so much for running this, and thank you, Sykes and Supernova, for commentating. It is time to take a little break, and then we'll be back with Celeste.